All right. Well, we are live from New York City. I'm Caitlin Hertel, one of the organizers for the Space Apps Challenge here in New York City. We decided that we wanted to do a night of a boot camp, just introducing a little bit of things that we've prepared before the hackathon. And one of those things has been done by Kin Lane. He works for Postman, which is an API client. And Kin has actually helped us to create a NASA API collection, which he's going to tell us a lot more about. I met Kin about a month ago at the Postman conference, which I went to for work, and I ended up actually coming out with something for the NASA Space Apps Challenge. So it worked out in my favor and our favor because this is open to everyone. Kin has made this available to everyone around the world. So if you are in any of our 200 locations this year, you will have access to what we are about to show you. And with that, I will turn it over to Kin.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you guys letting me talk today and kind of share what we've been working on, and hopefully it'll help everyone be a little more successful in the challenge. Yes, let me actually stop my share here real quick and share my video. I don't know if you guys can see my video, but my name's Kin Lane. I'm a API evangelist, and I spend my time evangelizing APIs and help people be more successful with APIs. And currently, I'm the chief postman or chief evangelist for Postman. And what I do is I spend time help people understand APIs and be more successful in working with APIs in whatever line of business that you're working in. And so I am trying to help out with the Space Apps Challenge. So let me go back to sharing my screen so I can kind of introduce you guys to what we've put together to help everyone be a little more successful. So this will be up on the Postman blog shortly, so you can just go to blog.getpostman.com and you can find everything that I'm just about to show you. And then we'll be regularly tweeting this out and all the links that are necessary to help out. So I always like to start with the basics because one fully understands what an API is and why it's important. And so an API or an application programming interface, it is how websites, mobile applications share information across the web. So if you look at your mobile app, your mobile phone, and look at all those icons on your desktop, all of those use APIs to call home, get data, and exchange information. And so that's just one example of how APIs can be used. But APIs make data, content, images, algorithms, all available so that you can use them in websites and applications. But you can use them in a lot of other different ways. So, and one thing that I really want to emphasize is while developers are most of the people that you'll find using APIs and talking about APIs, they're not just for developers, they're for anyone to use. And so provide a little intro here to what it is an API. I'll let you spend time reading more information about it if you want to learn. But I wanted to talk more about what they're used for because I mentioned, they're used in desktop and web and mobile applications, but they're used for system integration. So you can connect a lot of the applications that you already use using APIs. There's tools out there like Zapier and If This Then That and others that help connect all the popular services together. And there's plenty of most of the software as a service platforms that you would use have integrations pages that allow for API connections to be used. So basically, APIs are behind everything that we already use. You just have to make sure that you spend the time to get to know what APIs exist behind the scenes. And again, I'll let you read the detail on what APIs are used for. But let's get to how Postman can help. So Postman's a critical tool for developers to be able to easily make calls to APIs and be able to see what those, to craft those requests and then see those responses. it helps you. One of the things that's different about APIs than a regular website is, a website returns HTML that's meant to be viewed in a browser, and then APIs they return and data rather than the HTML and everything that makes it look pretty for humans to look at. And Postman helps you see those responses. And then a lot of APIs require that you authenticate. And so the NASA APIs, most of them are open and you don't need to authenticate. But there's a handful that require a key that you'll have to sign up for. And I'll show you here real quickly how you do that. And then you include that key in with each call or API call that you make. But Postman lets you make API calls without writing code. Developers love it, but it's actually something non-developers can use as well, because you don't have to write any code to make it work. It's really, think of it as an API browser, or kind of like a spreadsheet, Microsoft Excel or Google, that allows you to make calls to APIs and see that data that comes back. And so Postman is a tool for helping you, make sense of APIs. You can make calls to most any API unit. But one of the real big benefits is what's called a collection. And I've created a collection for the Space Apps Challenge that I'll walk you through and introduce you to. But a collection allows you to define how to connect with an API, and then share that with others, and you can use that. So we've created a collection for the Space Apps Challenge. The collection, what I've done is I've gone through, I'm going to switch real quick to the NASA APIs. So if you actually go to api.nasa.gov, they have a bunch of APIs available here. And then before you can access it, you have to sign up for an API key, which is just right up here at the top. You just gotta give them your name and email, and then where your app's gonna be. This is optional. And then once you sign up, you get an email almost immediately with your API key. But here's all the APIs that you can access. And while they actually just refreshed the documentation and made it even easier to use, giving you the different URLs here that you can make. Each API is slightly different because the APIs are made by different groups within NASA. And so it can be difficult to understand. You see here, they don't have the URLs for this Epic one. And so it's a little harder to understand, well, how do I make an API call? What do I do? And how they describe the APIs are slightly different. But what we've done is we've created a Postman collection that have all of the same characteristics. So what you do is, so the instructions are here, where to find the APIs, how to sign up for a key, and here's all of the APIs. But we've published as a simple set of docs that has all of them as one list here, provides really each one's consistent, has the same URL. But then we have what's called the Run in Postman button. And all you do is you click here and it will load up this collection in the Postman client. So of course, you're going to have to download Postman. You just go to getpostman.com and you can download browser and click on Run in Postman, and you'll have all of the API calls here. And then once you sign up for an API key, you'll be given an API key that is just a string of characters. There's what's called this environment right here up at the top. You'll see you can use different environments with your Postman collection. And here's my API key. I'm not too embarrassed about showing you guys it because I'm going to be changing it daily and getting a new one. But when you're ready, you can put your API key in your own Postman environment, which is right here. And you can just edit it, paste your own key in here, because this will be installed. You'll put your own here. But and then what I'm able to do, I probably should have cleaned this up, is all of the APIs. You can just kind of navigate. They're broken down into folders. I've tried to kind of name some of them appropriately. But here's like the NASA Near Earth Objects API. And so I click on that, loads it in the browser. It shows me the path from the API. It's all ready here. And it has a variable for the API key, which since I put it in my environment, it's green, and it'll just substitute that value for every time I need an API key. And this will prevent you from having to it for every single you have to do if you just use the NASA APIs. And so by putting your key in the environment, it just allows it to be reused easily across all of the APIs. And then once you're here, all you do is you just hit send, and then it makes a call to the NASA Near Earth Objects API, and you see the responses. And what this does is it lists all the different objects that are, coming close to hitting Earth. And so it's just one example of an interesting API. You can look at the JSON and hopefully start figuring out, well, what can we do that's interesting with this? How do we visualize this data? How do we work with it? And then from Postman, you can save this response to a file. If you want to get advanced, we have a new feature called the visualizer, where you can build templates that'll visualize the data. But we didn't have time to create any visualizations for each of these APIs. So if you want to experiment, there's ways that you can visualize this data. But yeah, at least helps you to see the JSON and be able to understand what's going on. But each of the APIs work very similar, kind of help abstract some of the differences. Here's the astronomy picture of the day, which again has the API key. So you don't have to retype each time. We can hit send. And here's the NASA picture for 9/13/2019. So say I want to, fast forward this, and let's do, what was the picture of the day for October 1st? And we can hit send. And then here's a black hole safety video is what came up. So it wasn't a photo. But let's look at it for the 15th. What comes up? Oh, so here's an image. Let's look at it. You can make calls to images too within the Postman browser. So here's the actual image of the day, so you can actually see it. So that's why I said think of API or Postman as a browser, because it allows you to browse the APIs as well as browse HTML images just like you would in a browser. But it gives you all this detail to be able to work with making the API calls, like I said, where you can change the date. And so we've put all the APIs in here. I've tried to abstract away some of the complexity. Here's the Mars rover, Curiosity, Opportunity, Spirit. There's Mars weather. There's NASA patents if you're interested in there. Satellite Situation Center. It's just all the APIs here. So really, what you build is up to you. But what Postman can do is it can really help all team members quickly get up to speed playing with the APIs, understanding what's possible, developers or non-developers, and then you can decide what you're going to build. And this allows non-developers to kind of play with, create different values, get different responses, and then help their more technical team members understand what can be built. And it'll hopefully save you a lot of time navigating all the different APIs. They're all here in one place. If you just get your NASA key, you can quickly make calls to all of them. You don't have to write code, and it'll save you having to navigate all of the different documentation that's available. If I can get back to it here at the NASA API. So hopefully it simplifies for folks to play with the API and understand what's possible. And like I said, all the instructions are on our blog. You can visit getpostman.com, and then you can visit getpostman.com to find everything here. You can download the app. The blog post has all of the links to the documentation here. The Run in Postman button should give you access to everything. And we've even got code examples here in the documentation. So you can grab snippets. You can choose, so you can choose PHP, if PHP is the code you want to write, and it'll automatically generate PHP code snippets here for you to make API calls. So even if you are a developer, there's a lot of value here in grabbing the different language snippets, as well as being able to just browse and see what all the APIs are do. I created the descriptions, and hopefully this helps you guys understand what's possible. And I will be monitoring. Go away. I'll be monitoring Twitter. Nope, I don't have tweet. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I'll be monitoring the Space Apps Challenge here, and on the Twitter handle or stream over the weekend. I will try to keep an eye on what's going on. But if you use the Space Apps hashtag, I'm going to add another column for just looking for the Postman. So if you use Space Apps plus Postman, and we say this in the blog post, and you have any questions, we'll try to keep an eye out and provide any help if you get stuck anywhere along the way. So with that said, that's kind of all I have. If you have any questions, let us know, and good luck to everybody as you guys try to build some cool and interesting things.
There we go. Thank you so much, Kin. And I just want to point out that Kin did this out of the kindness of his heart for us, for our benefit, for everyone's benefit. All 20,000 of us that participate this weekend have access to this. Developers who don't participate in Space Apps will have access to this in the future. And this could really be a game changer for not only the hackathon, but for information sharing in general. And so, you know, thank you so much, Kin. This has made the biggest of differences. I can't wait to see what we do with this. And yeah, so again, make sure if you are using Postman, use that hashtag. And we'll keep track, and we'll be retweeting and all that good stuff. So thank you again, Kin, for your time, for your hard work, and for your dedication, and for believing in the Space Apps Challenge.
No, thank you guys, and everyone. Build some really cool things. I really look forward to it. I love this type of energy. So hopefully it helps. Let us know how we can help you, and good luck to everyone.
Perfect. Great. Okay. Well, I think now, yes, we are switching gears a little bit. So we're going from a very technical talk to a not so technical talk, but very important. And so this one is, I think we just have to share the screen really quick, but I'm going to talk about the importance of social media and hackathons. Something that normally you don't really think about when you're hacking. You're busy, you're working, you're building your projects, you're trying to learn everything as fast as humanly possible in the 48 hours that you have. But there is another aspect to the hackathon, and that is social media. Okay, it looks like we are up and running. Okay, we can just skip to the second slide. Great. So first of all, who am I, and why am I talking to you? Why am I up here today? First of all, I am an organizer for the New York City Space Apps Challenge, and I am a partner success manager at Cint, which is a market research firm. And I have previously worked for CDNs. I've been in content marketing. I've been in advertising, kind of done a little bit of everything. And I attended my tech boot camp that really got me into tech in 2016. I did the block boot camp for Ruby and Rails, and I actually went to my first hackathon in 2016. I was only a few days into my boot camp. I am not a coder at that point. I had no technical experience, but I decided that I was going to give it a go, and my team actually won that year. And that, of course, got me addicted to Space Apps. Last year, I started a team called the Unicode Unicorns, led by myself and my partner, Kelby Stockstill. We got our project sponsored by a weather API called Mediamatics. which was very surprising to us. Last year during the hackathon, we did not win. But we did get noticed, and I think it has a lot to do with the social media presence that we had during that time. Just gonna switch here. So what socials should you use? The three most important ones are Twitter, most popular within the Space Apps community, Instagram for live stories. That's always super fun. Just take a quick live story, upload it to your feed, and everyone can see what you're up to in live time. And Facebook, instead of having like a team page on Facebook, updating your personal Facebook and promoting your socials there is always a good way to get people who are not actually involved in the Space Apps Hackathon interested in what you're doing and taking a better look at your project. So let's talk about Twitter. When tweeting, we have to remember to tag both Space Apps New York City if you're in New York City. If you're in a different location, make sure you're tagging your location. But we also want to tag at Space Apps, which is the global organizing team. It's important that we get their attention too. They'll retweet you to all their followers. They have the most followers out of all of us. And that's a good way to get your project out there. Tweet as often as possible and with pictures. Make it interesting. People don't want to just read feeds. They want to see what you're working on. So document your process. If you're working on a whiteboard, you're just sitting there taking notes, take some pictures of your whiteboard. If you have a sketch, an outline of what you think you're going to do, post that too. You're going to see in a minute, I took pictures of my partner Kelby just taking notes, and that was just one of our posts. And especially post rough drafts or demos or prototypes and apps. So people want to see what you're working on. There are a lot of people that are watching specifically the Space Apps hashtag and the Space Apps different user groups. They're really looking for interesting projects. So if you have a demo but it's still not ready, or a rough draft of something, share that, because the scientists that are watching might be able to help and might be able to step in and say, hey, I'm interested in what you're working on. And then all of a sudden you have a NASA scientist on your side. So it's very important to post as often as possible. This year we do have a new hashtag, the Space Apps Universe. And so this is really meant for us to show what we're doing in each one of our different 200 locations. So take pictures of the venue, take pictures of your team, take pictures of other teams, but we want to show what's going on in every location. So New York will be taking a bunch of pictures. You know, I'm hoping that every other city does the same and uses this hashtag, Space Apps Universe. We also want to use just regular Space Apps, and also using the NASA hashtag is optional, but also can boost some of your posts. You want to do some research on some Twitter accounts that are working on something similar to what you're working on, or are interested in what you're working on. There are a ton of PhD students out there that are working on their final papers right now, and a project like what we might create this weekend might be perfect for them, and they can contribute their research to us. So that's something I learned last year. We had a bunch of PhD students come to us and be like, whoa, we're working on something similar, like, can we help? And the answer is always going to be yes, please help me. I don't know what I'm doing most of the time. Ask questions to professionals and scientists, find them, and see if they'll respond. A lot of people know what's going on this weekend. I mean, there's 20,000 of us across the world. It's the biggest hackathon in the world. A lot of people are aware of what's going on. If you directly message a scientist or a professor or anybody who is a professional in the field that you are working in, you pretty much might get an answer. If you have a specific question for them, or you're just looking for advice, it's perfect to just search around Twitter and find those people, and then really get in contact with them and start a conversation. The other thing too is retweet your fellow hackers' projects. You know, we all want to win this hackathon. I mean, it's the coolest thing in the world to say, hey, I won my location's NASA Space Apps Challenge. But at the same time, we're all working on something really cool together. And even if you don't win, your project, like mine, can continue past the hackathon. So tweet your fellow hackers' projects, promote them. They'll promote you in return. And it's also really cool to be able to see what someone in Bangladesh is working on when you're sitting here in New York working on your own project. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. My team actually secured our sponsorship through Twitter. So we were looking for a weather API. We found Mediomatics. We liked what they did, but their highest tier was a little out of our price range for a hackathon. We wrote to them, we told them what we were working on, what our ideas were, and they were like, holy moly, like, yeah, we want to be part of this. So we actually signed a sponsorship with them, and all of this happened through Twitter. So it's important, like I said, it's really important to get your name, your team name out there, what you're working on, and a summary here and there of what's going on during the hackathon. The next one, so I just want to show you guys a little bit of our feed of the Unicode Unicorns, just because last year we were very big on here. And so just scrolling down to the very beginning, like I said, I took pictures of us taking notes. We got silly and we drew a couple pictures because we are the Unicode Unicorns. We started posting facts as we were learning. We were posting different types of, we were working on an ice project. So we started posting different pictures. Also, you know, climate change. This is actually a plastic bag in the ocean made to look like an iceberg because of all the trash and all of the pollution that's going on right now. We posted about what data set we were using, which at the time was NASA Ice Bridge. We got a little silly, posted some other things. We dressed our dog up as a unicorn. And then we started posting our actual project. And this is one of the outputs from our project last year, actually mapping the sea ice in the Arctic and how dense it is. Eventually, we made this into a GIF where it moved the first 40 days of ice, sea ice. So this is just one example of what you can do on your social media posts. This is the GIF. So you can see it's 40 days worth of data. The ice is growing. And this can be really important for climate change. This can be important for boat navigation. This can be important for oil drilling, a million different things. So this was what we produced at the hackathon last year. And since then, our project has developed into something a little bit different. But how do I get back to the... Sorry, guys. One sec. There it is. Okay. So Instagram is our other platform. Instagram is less for updates in real time and more to brag about what you're creating. On the Instagram, do you have a prototype? Take a picture of it. Is it working? Take a video of it. Be artsy with it. Be more creative. Instagram is a little bit more of a creative platform rather than an information finding platform. So team pictures would be great for Instagram. Maybe a logo, if you guys create a logo like we have right here, that's something that can absolutely go on an Instagram. But the most important thing is once you get your app working, once you get your prototype working, post that on the internet, everywhere. Post it, brag about it, be proud of it. You just created something in 48 hours for NASA. Be proud of yourselves and post everything you possibly can. There's one other, this is from 2016, back when Tumblr was a thing. So my team did the tumbleweed. This is the one that actually won. It's not letting me scroll. Oh, there we go. Okay. So we documented our whole process. We started with a video of Mars, just a general video we found, to explain what we wanted to do. We started taking pictures of our workspace, because why not? Our whiteboarding sessions, that was cool to take pictures of. That's really cool to have still. pictures of, to see our creative process. And again, if you continue your project post-hackathon, having these notes documented and your original ideas, that's really important because you might need to come back to the drawing board at some point. Other things was we have some videos. We made a mesh network of self-propelling origami robots for the surface of Mars. So there's a video of our origami artist fast-forwarding and folding the actual robots. We have a video of, this is a video of our prototype actually working. So you can actually see it. It's supposed to be self-propelled by the wind, and it worked. But of course, we're at a hackathon, and it was made out of cardboard and 2 Dunkin' Donut cups. But it worked, and so we wanted to be able to show people that. This was our organizer wearing one of our origami creations. Eventually, we did some soldering. They allowed me to have a soldering thing that made sparks. Me, of all people. That was interesting. We have pictures of our team. We have videos explaining how our prototype worked. And then we also we added a few things. So just again, documenting everything is really important, not only to get attention, but also to go back and say, holy crap, at hour 1, we had a piece of paper and an idea. And at hour 48, we presented a full working prototype. So it's really cool to be able to, get back and see that stuff. So the object of the social media game is to, 1, get noticed by the Space Apps community and judges. Trust me, they are watching. Get help from fellow scientists and people who actually know what they're talking about. See what other teams are creating around the world and see if you can share ideas. Knowledge share is really important during this hackathon. And secure a sponsorship or long-term help on your project should you choose to continue post-hackathon. And I highly recommend continuing post-hackathon. It's really fun. My team got to talk to a lot of NASA specialists, a lot of scientists, things that never would have happened to me had I not participated in this hackathon. This hackathon has truly changed my life. Did we lose something? Okay, sorry. It's truly changed my life. I got into tech because of this. I became even more of a space nerd because of this. And truly, it's changed everything for me, and I can't wait to see what we put out this year. These are just some important Twitters to follow. You want to follow your local Space Apps team. You want to follow the international Space Apps team. And then you want to follow your organizers. Just in case anything goes awry during the hackathon, we will be tweeting about it. So make sure you find your local organizers, you find your local Space Apps location, follow those, you'll be golden. I also have Matt Scott on there. He is the Global Space Apps Community Leader, and he is great at giving advice. He's great at liking lots of pictures and retweeting and getting names out there. So I highly recommend following him. You're going to see a lot of cool stuff coming out of his account during the hackathon. And with that, I am done. So good luck to everyone who is participating this year, whether you're here with us in New York or you are anywhere else in the world. We wish you the best of luck. I cannot wait to see what comes out this year. I want to see everyone bragging on social media. Be proud of yourselves. Be proud of your fellow teammates. Be proud of the fellow hackers. This is not only are you working on a team by yourself, with your team, but there are other teams too, and at your location, we are one cohesive team. We are all here to help each other. The organizers are here to help you with anything you need. Remember, we do have Slack channels. You can talk in there. You can look for knowledge shares in there. Anything you need, ask, and we will help. We are here to help. So, and with that, I will say good luck to everyone, and I will look forward to seeing some demos on Sunday.